Hi there. Today in this episode, I'd like to summarize few episodes I made before. So, yeah, I decided to challenge myself a little bit and also as a practice. So I wrote this whiteboard down. These are all the things I want to discuss. Is also the summarize about those few episodes because every time when I record, it's just in front of the camera, reading the script I wrote down. So people must find it bored. Also, I find it bored. So I like to express, but it just the limitation of my English that is like holding me back, which is unfortunate. But just let me give it a try. And I know just don't expect too much about my language, grammar, and vocabulary. Well, thank you for giving me this chance. So first of all, I'd like to discuss why the first topic I want to discuss is beginninglessness, right? So people will feel like, oh, why you discuss this? What's the point? It's so abstract. Why don't you talk about consciousness, what is right, what is wrong, what is evil, and all like eternity, things like that. So I want to say that is no way you can choose a topic that can cover everything at once. There's no way. If you choose this topic, other people will be unsatisfied. They will feel like, oh, why don't you talk about this thing? I into this thing. If I choose that thing, then these people will not be satisfied, right? So I need to find a crossroad, a point that no matter it's from theology or by science or by spirituality or anything like that, they will always have some kind of resonance. So I choose the topic of origin first, the origin of universe, because everyone wonder, everyone trying to find out. So I think that's no doubt that everyone want to figure it out about this. That's the reason why I choose this topic, and it's very important. And eventually, we will lead to how does this understanding of beginninglessness that changes our life, which is all in those previous episodes. But today, just let me practice and try to make a summary. So first, in the first episode I made about this topic is from scientific perspective to discuss Big Bang. So most people now, their understanding about the origin of universe still is Big Bang. That's it, it's Big Bang. But what is Big Bang? And is it like just like a bang and then everything just come out from nowhere? Or is it just like a metaphor or something? People don't really look into it. They just say like, if anybody asks about what is the origin of universe, oh, that must be Big Bang. Otherwise, you are not scientific. You are superstitious. So that's the current situation. So about Big Bang in that episode, we already discussed four main evidence about why Big Bang actually happened. Right. So again, I'm not suggesting Big Bang or this kind of situation of Big Bang happened in history. No, I didn't. Later on, we will discuss that. But what are the evidence of Big Bang? The first is cosmic microwave background radiation. And the second is galaxy redshift. Third is abundance of light elements. And the last one is observations of distant galaxy. So these four evidence strongly suggest that back to the time in a very, very long time ago, there were a very hot, dense situation of universe, and that's where we call it singularity. And it did happen in history. It does. Yeah. So that's the first thing in that episode. It reviews. And the second thing is we introduce the concept of manifest and unmanifest. This topic is highly abstract. Most people, they really find it struggle to understand what is manifest and unmanifested. So first of all of these inspirations here, not just from science. To me, it's not from science and also from Upanishads. A lot of different Upanishads, they suggesting this thing. So what is manifest and unmanifested? So we are suggesting like you can understand, we always mention this relational field. So what is existence? Existence is a field. So when the relationship is matured enough, then the existence, well, observable existence, they emerge. And when all the condition just dissolved, then they're back to unmanifested. That is how it is. So things are not really gone. They're just back to the potential state, which is what we call unmanifested. That is how thing is. So this is the concept of manifest and unmanifest. Later on, well, if you rewatch that episode, it talk very clearly about the concept. But the first episode is just the introduction about it, and then the second episode we will discuss more about it. So the second episode, first of all, we are talking about linear logic. Like, why everyone, almost everyone, or a lot of people, they get trapped by the linear logic. Because we see things, they are like, they have a start, they have an end, a thing, a flower, it blossom, and then it just fade away. So we suggest like existence itself is also like that. It has a starting point and then it has an end point. That's it. And this is from a very surface level of understanding of existence. We're not suggesting like, I'm greedy for eternal life. No, it's not like that. It's just about understanding of existence itself. It cannot be really understood with linear logic. And in that episode, I discuss very detailed about the trap of linear logic, why we have to debunk this. And the second thing we're talking about is absolute emptiness. Because from science and from philosophy, from a lot of different way, we actually already get to the conclusion that there is no absolute emptiness. Absolute emptiness is just the ideal that we think maybe it exists somehow, but in reality it doesn't. Why? Because we already discovered that quantum fluctuation here is what is scientifically proven. Quantum fluctuation is everywhere. Even in all the situation like you think that it shouldn't exist. That means there is no such thing as absolute emptiness. The emptiness we see is it's just the unmanifested state. When it's unmanifested, we cannot see anything exist, but doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like, well, dark matter. So you can understand in that way. And then we have to also re-understand singularity. So what does it mean, singularity? A lot of people think singularity means like universe just come out from nowhere, like magically from nowhere. Well, that doesn't make sense because we already said there is no absolute emptiness. Come out from nowhere. Nowhere means absolute emptiness, but absolute emptiness doesn't exist. So what does it mean of singularity? So eventually we get to the conclusion. Singularity means in that point of singularity, when everything manifests, our model of science just cannot explain it. It's just beyond our language to understand or to describe yet, right? We're not saying like forever it will not be able to describe, but it's now our scientific model cannot describe and cannot explain. So that's what singularity truly means. It's not about the universe come from nowhere, and this is very important. And the next one, and then the next thing we're talking about, what kind of current theory that supported about all these things we suggested, like manifest and unmanifested, and there is no such thing as absolute emptiness. And Big Bang is not a real, like a starting point. It's just one of the manifestation. So what kind of theory suggests that? The first one is conformal cyclic cosmology by Roger Penrose. The second one is brain universe model by string theory. And then is the quantum fluctuation we already mentioned here. So in these three current theory, they all suggest that Big Bang is just one of the manifestation. Is real. We are not denying it, but you breathe in and breathe out. Yes, you do breathe, but you are not just breathe for one time, right? You breathe for so many times. And your existence doesn't mean like if you are gone, then the whole existence just gone with you. It's not like that. So So here, we emphasize again, we are not denying Big Bang. We are not. But what is Big Bang? Big Bang is when the relationship is matured and then go to the critical point and then it manifests. So, but then what conclusion we get out of this? If we follow all of this, we will get a conclusion. Simply, there is no creation. There is no creation, it's just the manifestation, it's just emergence. Just emerge and emerge and emerge again, cyclically. So there is no creation. Then there will be a problem because by theological way, we see a lot of theology suggests that God created the world and all the things. So then we have the conflicts. That's why in the next episode, I start to discuss in theological perspective about creationism. That's why I go to this topic. So in the episode of discussing on the topic of creationism, I call creationism as monistic ontology. Well, I know it's a sensitive topic, but because we are really discussing the topic of origin of universe, this is inevitable. We have to face this topic, and we have to face it with science and theology as well. It's inevitable. So first of all, we have to review what is the paradox of creationism. The first thing is perfection. So what is about? So if we define God as someone is already perfect, so perfect existence wouldn't need action to do anything at all, because action means you have desire to do such thing, and because if you're not doing that thing, you don't feel okay. You want to do that thing so you feel complete or you feel happier. But if a perfect being, there is no such state as imperfect or need to do anything at all because it's already perfect. So this is why it's always understood as a mover. Like you cannot move like it have to be a static being based on their logic, right? Based on, for example, Advaita Vedanta's logic, the perfect being, the Brahman itself, it have to be unmoved. You have to be an observer. It have to be static. It's out of this logic. If you want action, that means you don't feel satisfied yet. You need to do something. And what creation is action, right? So if God is perfect, why he needs to create this world, right? And the second thing is, if God is eternal, that means he is beyond time. But creation, that means, okay, at a specific time, God decided to create. God decided to create stuff, create a human being, created existence. And that specific time is a point in time. So that is a contradiction, because you cannot say you are both beyond time, at the same time you are within time. So this is another contradiction. That means the monistic ontology of creationism has an inherent paradox, unfortunately. So then we talk about, we discuss about the consequences of creationism. The creationism eventually leads to the conclusion is very dualistic, like God is God and you and whatever other beings are the creation, a creator and the creation. So where is the divinity then? If you suggest that the divinity is within you, then what is God about? God is every divinity there. So how you explain this to their relationship? So if eventually, if you don't get to the conclusion of non-duality, you will always find all sorts of contradiction, no matter what, no matter how hard you try. So that is why Spinoza suggests that God or nature. That means God is nature. Nature is God. Divinity is within nature, is within existence. You cannot suggest that it's somewhere or somebody high above. You cannot. If you think in that way, you basically you put the concept of love, of divinity, of all the kindness, goodness above, and you worship it in another shore, and that will never work, because you will always feel unsatisfied. You will only feel yourself very low, very down, because you always look high above. And the second thing is, and the second person is Heidegger. Heidegger suggests that existence or existence, and this is also a very deep philosophy. I believe it must be inspired by Eastern philosophy. Probably, most likely, it's by Buddhism, to be honest. So that also suggests that if you suggest that God is the existent, then you are suggest that God is limited, because existence is limited, but existence itself, it cannot be confined, it cannot be described just by form, by shape, or existent in as are existent, basically. Well, it is a very a little bit strange, abstract logic, but you can look into it. You can just search Heidegger's existence and existence. You will know what this concept is about. And then what should we do then? If God is not as a creator, then what should we do? Because if we know God is creator, so his law we need to follow and all these things, so we will know what to do, what is right, what is wrong. It's all in the scriptures, right? So it's simple. But if God is not a creator, there is no such thing as us scriptures to tell you what is right, what is wrong. So how do we do what we're supposed to do? Is everything just meaningless, and should we just go to nihilism? So of course not. Then the entire episode is to explaining, so how can we have a relational non-duality non-duality understanding, realization, to understand who we are. At the same time, we feel the divinity within us. We feel God within us, but not beyond us. So yeah, that entire episode is talking about this. So we are not as a creation of God. We are the expression, we are the echo of God. At the same time, it emphasizes a lot on participation, because divinity is not just a concept. Once you understand the concept and that's it, you reach the ultimate goal. No, it's not like that. Divinity is something you have to participate, then you understand. Why we call it divinity? We are not trying to suggest, mystify it, because people would just feel like, why don't you just say love? Why don't you just say something more wordly? Why you use the word divinity? Because everyone have the moment you will feel like, wow, this is so divine. When you feel this, you will know what I mean, right? It's not necessarily to be something high above or ontologically or metaphysically. It can just be love, but you will always have the moment when you see a beautiful scenery, when you feel being loved, you feel this is just divine, right? There's nothing wrong with using this word divinity at all. Nothing wrong about it. And then the last two episodes, we discuss about then how can we debunk or we remove the fear of begin, because we always, sometimes we're scared of start to do something. We feel like, oh, I'm not ready. And oh my God, it's a starting point. Start from that point. I have to make the effort. I need to succeed. Otherwise, I just worthless. So then it reveals very easily, if we understand the beginninglessness, then we will never have fear of beginningless, have fear of starting point. Like what I'm doing now, like I'm doing all of this, and my English is not good at all, but I'm not fear to start this. Why? Because I know I'm not starting it. It's just when relationship is matured enough, this is something I always wanted to do. I just let it flow through me. I just let it express through me. So all of these things, which are not even mine, to be honest, all of these things we ever have, all the inspiration, is just the result of relationship, which is the next episode I will discuss about. So anyway, I'm not afraid to start anything because I know I never started. It's just the flow of life is ever flowing. It never stops or never have a starting point or end point. So when you do something, just have courage. Just have courage. Of course, don't hurt somebody with love, because the love within you, the goodness within you is beginningless. Just let it flow through you. Don't have the anxiety, no need to feel so nervous about it. Just do this just like me. Even my English is like this. I'm not afraid. So the last episode, I'm talking about how can we let go of the position of beginning. This is a huge problem. Trust me, this is a huge problem nowadays, because everyone wants to grab something to say this is mine, and then they will feel that's superior than other people. No matter it's by success or like they suddenly have an idea, and then they will feel like, oh, this is mine. You see, I introduced this idea of relational non-duality. I would never ever claim that I invent this thing. No, it's impossible. Because why? Because thousands of years ago, from Upanishad already, or from some of the philosophical philosophers, they already discussed this. It's just then they get covered by time, and history is a circle, is a cycle. It just sometimes people are tend to agree with this side and then tend to agree that side, and just repeating the history again and again. So I don't create anything like this at all. It's just all of this people, their talk, their teaching, it just echo with me and resonate with me. So I let it flow through me to express it again. So this flow was ever flowing, never with a beginning point. I express it through my mouth, through my writing, through this video, but doesn't mean it belongs to me. I never process any starting point of anything at all. And if people can let go of this, they will feel so much easier to deal with their life. They will really can let go of the anxiety, because people are so obsessed nowadays. They're obsessed about how successful they are. Is this person mine? Is that one mine? Is this thing mine? Is that thing mine? And that will never work, because nothing really belongs to you or belongs to me. We are just let it flow through us. We are only participator. We are not the owner. And just as Isha Upanishad suggests that, everything just flow through us. And everything, what is the property of everything? You can understand as everything is the God's property, but then we'll really discuss about how we understand God. That's also important. Depends on how you understand God. But I can let it go. I don't need to really argue with people. Do you understand God as a personal God, or formless, nirguna or cirguna? I don't care, to be honest. Because no matter how they understand God, all I care is, are they participating in it? Are they actually to show the glory of God they believe in their real life? If they don't, then it's just talking, and it's pointless, and what we call hypocrite. And that is not good. Anyway, so that's it. This is a little bit summarized about all I did in this few episodes, and it's also a practice to me. And I really, really hope that you can give me suggestion. You can tell me, is there to discuss further with me. I'm not expert on this, like doing media, social media. This YouTube channel is the first thing I ever done actually about social media. To do like philosophy that I always wanted to do. So yeah, but I know that I will continue this too forever, because this is what I truly want. So anyway, thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next episode.